Deduka, a tale of one mind and two times. I spend those evenings in the living room with my grandparents. They ask me about all that is happening back home, with school, with my art, with my romances. Each little detail they invest themselves in. I bring photographs of my works and print out my essays to show them. Deduka takes them from me and spends a couple days mulling over them, translating them for himself, interpreting every word. He sits with me days later with annotated documents and yearns to hear my thoughts. Some words he doesn't recognize and asks me to explain them to him in Russian. I try my best, but I stutter. My Russian is not as strong as my English, although I understand every word. My speech is simply not as inhibited because I never learned Russian formally. When I was a little older, my grandfather sat me down on the couch with a pile of papers in hand. Do you know what your name means? I know I was named after my grandmother's mama, Babushka Anya. Yes, but do you know what it means? Anna is blaga. Blaga could loosely translate to good, but isn't all-embracing in the same way. On his papers, he wrote out all the words that have the prefix of blaga. Благодать, grace. Благоплодный, noble. Благосвольный, well-meaning. Can you imagine how much meaning your name carries? Nearing another scheduled departure from Russia, Deduka asks for a couple hours of my time to read me something. He brings in one of his many tattered books of poetry with bookmarks revealing themselves between the pages. Over the many years of this tradition, there is a poem that I distinctly remember. I hear its presence at the back of my mind, read in my grandfather's voice, so delicately articulated. It is a poem by Lermontov called The Sail. The few stanzas depict the sail bending and creaking in the ocean storm. The concluding two lines reverberate into all that I have grown to be. And restless he seeks the storm, as if in the storm he will find peace. Other times he would show me a collection of photographs that he treasures from his past. Many of them are of old Singapore. In each photo there is a deeply embedded memory, a tale of Singapore or his time as a journalist. Deduka remembers everything, all the littlest moments, even the ones from an accidental click of the camera. He sees the wonder in all things humbling. I'm developing my art practice in New York now, making art about where I come from. Where do I come from? I'm half American and half Russian, but I lived all my life in Singapore, spent all my summers in Moscow. I'm in America now, but I emulate Singapore when I demonstrate the habits I keep and echo Russia even with my refined English. I contemplate the ways in which the oscillation between Singapore and Russia has taught me different, the way I understand distance on an epic scale, one that is rather terrifying to be pulled away from. My obsession over belonging resonates in everything I make because I float between two worlds that I've left my heart in. I'm questioning what parts of me have come from nature and what have developed in me as nurture. After months separated from the worlds I know, I find myself missing the evenings on the uneven couch, the conversations with my grandfather and his poetry. I can't help but wonder how much of my life I received from Deduka and how much of his memories reveal themselves in mine.